Hello to viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Future Friday, we're going to talk about a very important topic for us, that is right to repair. So let's dive deep into it. So we have to understand what exactly is technology so we can have a proper context for it. Well, the reality is humans have unlimited potential. Now, one person or one individual is not that powerful, but collectively we are God tier. We are literally shaping a planet that we live on. So we are, whether for good or ill, it does not matter. In terms of our power, we are absolute power. And again, I could easily see if humanity walks on a right path, let's say 2 generations from, or maybe before I'm out, there could be a proper colony on moon. Maybe 2-3 generations from now, then could be starting colony on Mars. Maybe 500-600 years from now, other star systems. The moment humanity touches other star system, we will be classified as immortal. So fundamentally, humans' potential is raw, unlimited. Like there is no mathematical vector to quantify it. It's like we good, we got this. And all of that is solely possible because of science and technology. There is nothing other than this, because as you look at us, almost in every way, there is some species that can beat us. It's just that our science to technology is like, brah, don't even try. So what does this quote unquote science and technology means? It's a very simple thing. When you understand the law of the freaking universe. So let's say Einstein dives deep into the laws of the universe, how universe is governed. He figures out equal to mc square. Then utilizing that understanding, we build tools. That tools, utilizing that principles, we can make our technology. So we have to understand how things work. We have to understand like, oh, how the heat is being generated, how heat is causing a gas flow and all that. Then we can make jet engine. So we understand the laws of universe, and then we make tools utilizing those principles, and voila, we have our technology. Now, here's the inherent thing that you have to understand. I've seen way too many people putting something that there is basically putting an emotion on technology. It's not. Technology is neither good nor bad. It's just a freaking tool. Now, good or bad, it's up to you. For example, Einstein figures out equal to mc square. Somebody figures out how to actually do it. What do you do after that? That's up to you. You can go boom boom on Japan, or you can go kaboom in Chernobyl. That's up to you. That's choice up to you. Like again, was the nuclear technology at fault in this? Hell no. The reason why I'm always so against nuclear is because it's not human proof. We always will try to do cost cutting. We'll always try to do some cheat on that. For that reason, this went kaboom. So that's the whole point. Technology has no inherent good or bad. It's just that you have to understand that part inherently. Like we have a freaking flying hotel, hundreds of kilometers above our head, that is traveling at 28,000 kilometers per hour. Like we got this. We've been there like for decades, kind of. So fundamentally, this is technology. We are so very dependent on this. This is not optional. This is almost like, oh, we can live without technology. It's like, yeah, a beaver might not live so well in a desert, so to say. So inherently, we grew because of our technology, so we cannot just like undo technology. Technology is neither good or bad. It's only at its application and by the person. So if this technology pollutes the earth, again, if there's a human responsible for this, yes, then it's up to that human. Human could decide to like, hey, not worth it, let's not do it. If they could decide, hey, worth it, we can manage it. Human could decide, who cares? That's up to that human. So fundamentally, technology has no inherent good or bad. No technology has. Now, complexity. This is one thing that companies try to showcase. Like, it's so complex, it's so intricate, so blah, blah, blah. Basically, why is that? Well, inherently, you have to understand this. Any technology sufficiently advanced enough will be classified as magic. Basically, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And we kind of inherently understand this. Like you could see like your parents, especially in the early years of 90s and 2000s, it's like children were like, playing around with VCRs and computers and modems and all that. And parents were like, wow, how are you doing? This is almost magic. Well, still because they are not understanding it. And again, it's normal, it's human nature. They would understand their timeline, we understand our timeline. So imagine taking a smartphone, going back to 1500. Try explaining that to anyone in 1500. It's not. It's freaking magic that you can just take a photo and you can show the photo. You can show the video. What is a video? How this works? Yes, still, it happens. So fundamentally, that's what companies are trying to do. Like, that utopia model, where it's like, it's just magic. It just works. However, there is a dark side to it. The dark side is the more complex technology gets. For example, back in the old days, most people were competent enough they can do electrical wiring of their household because it was not that complex. Now it's very complex. It's like the numbers of people that can do that is like very little nowadays. And as people grow up in condos and like bigger buildings and all that, communities and all that, likelihood of people able to do that is like going down exponentially. So as technology becomes more complex, serviceability goes very low. And serviceability by whom? This is a very critical aspect. By layperson. What does that layperson mean? For example, my family's first phone was Samsung C100. It was world's first color slim smartphone. It was so slim, it was 1 centimeter thick. So it was, yeah, it was back in the day, centimeter was a big unit. I'm old enough where I have used phones, mobile phones that were 2 centimeter thick. So yeah, centimeter, not millimeter, centimeter. So that time, Samsung had a weird idea where it's like the back side was the battery embedded. So you can just unlatch, tada, replace the battery, put a new battery in. That was the old way of doing things. And again, that time almost every other company has a similar, like you remove a back panel, then you have a battery block, you eat that block. So that's how we started. But can I do that same thing in current Samsung S23 fan edition that I have right now? No. I have to go to some technician who can undo this. But here's the deal. That's what it means, layperson. I cannot do it. Like back in the old days, almost everybody could do it. Now, not everybody could do it. So layperson is now out of the game. However, the company are true about this part, that layperson cannot do that, but it does not apply on technician. It does not apply on them at all, because here's the deal. If a human could not build this, that means companies could also not build it. They're not hiring aliens to build your stuff. Like Apple is not like, oh, we get it commissioned in Venus and then get it supplanted in like Jupiter and all that shit. No, there is a person, most likely a child working in a freaking lab. Not even a lab, it's like mass production going on your basically paperweight, what we call MacBooks. So fundamentally, layperson cannot do it. That's not mean technicians cannot, because again, technicians are the one who designed the damn thing, built the damn thing. So fundamentally, them also, again, even the technician who are not in the design phase, assembly phase and all that, they evolve. It's their job to evolve. Like back in the days, they were good about carburetor based cars. Now they are good enough with fuel injector based car. It's their job to evolve. They evolve with the times and their tools. For example, right now, because we have so much surface mounted devices, using a single soldering iron is no longer viable, so to say. It's like very tedious, very slow, again, because our soldering iron, that system is designed for more for through hole components. This is not. So we developed tweezers. Now most people, technicians who do it daily, they will buy a tweezer. Tweezer has like both on the hot and done. So you can do that. Like their tools evolved by the needs. The needs was like, hey, we need somewhere to quickly and easily, effectively remove a component. Voila, tweezer-based soldering iron. Or sometimes hot air stations. So their tools are evolving. For example, you could have ball grid array. Right now, that's the most complex manufacturing process used to have a PCB and bond integrated circuits onto it. ICs. Okay, you bond IC with using ball grid array. It's complex, but this is a tool. India makes this tool in-house. It's not that magical. It's not, oh, lulu, how can you do that? It's a very simple, robust slide stand where you can slide in XY, exactly like a microscope. Then you have basically mirrors coming out. One mirror looks up, one looks down, and then you can just align it, X and Y, using exact same micrometer that you can buy in some shops, or you found it in your lab slides. It's a normal thing. You just do it, and then it's like, I preheat you, I heat you up, and then I just remove the mirror, and then plonk the CPU down. Done. Ball grid array replacement. It's a normal tool. You can just buy it. Again, it's not meant for normal people. It's expensive, but that means technicians have evolved to a point where if they want to, and if they do, which again, many times they do, they can like take a LCD TV and replace the actual IC on it. That's doable now. It's not like, oh, how would you do that? It's like, yeah, we have been doing this from 2010. This is the modern variant of that, where it's like because again the ICs and resistors, they have become so small, it's very difficult to goddamn look at it. They're like, bro, we got this USB based microscope and almost like a pick and place machine that can like, I got you, fam. So fundamentally, just because you and I cannot do it does not mean technician evolve with this. Is their bread and butter. They will evolve with this as long as law support it. If law becomes anti-repair, then yeah, of course they will lose that system. But again, never let that complexity trick you. Like people are like, oh, the battery electric vehicle should not be touched by people because it's like it's high voltage. It's like, what is higher voltage? The transformer lines that goes to your household, that's generally 11 kV in India. Even in USA, it's like only goes down to 9 kV. That is 9,000 volts. And at that voltage, it does not matter whether it's AC or DC. It's like, bruh, you poofed. It's not gonna be like you did, like you poofed. Oh, and there are people who look at them, like you will think now, oh, this will be like very professional lab gear now. Like, bruh, we got this. And don't you dare googling how Indian electrician work, because you will have nightmares. And if you hate any of your family member who works in OSHA, give them how Indian electrician works. So that's the whole point. Like, complexity is just for you and I. Just does not exist for people who are working on it. It's like, back in the days, I did not understand how things work. Now I'm like, it's a PCB, it's an IC. Again, it does not mean I understand the firmware and go to, but it's no longer magical to me. It's like, I got it. You know, like, I can see. Again, same goes with people who are working in vehicles. It's like, how this injector sound is like, I got it. They're like, they got it. I may not got it. They got it. So that's the complexity. Companies will always try to make it into magic. You have to be wise enough to, like, if it's made by human, it's not magic. Unless alien comes, then I will remake the video. Now we come to the most bitter part of this reality, which has the worst penalty on us: planned obsolescence. Basically, because I have an individual who works in battery companies, he specified that lead acid battery, again, is a robust known technology. We have been making it for almost, if I'm not mistaken, 2 centuries. We good at it. Like, but here's the, why the heck batteries are not lasting? Lead acid battery, again, my hometown has a like really ugly electricity, so we consume a lot of batteries for our inverters, home inverters. I used to replace, like, one battery used to last very long time, then we replace it. I did not remember my timeline between battery 1 to battery 2, but battery 2 to 3 I remember. 3 to 4 I'm remembering. Now I'm like, it's a consumable now. Now, like, that's what I'm doing. Now I'm consuming batteries. It's like, how the heck that happened? Even though technology improved. His deal. This is what happens to the companies, like, be it Excite, be it whatever have you. They're like, okay, the R&D department is like, sir, we have a new technology. It's like, okay, what? Same amount of cost, X amount of cost, let's say X cost, we can make the product last 2X longer. They're like, cool, awesome. What is the, let's say, call it tubular battery technology. Cool, awesome, GG. Then they're like, okay, they will give the promotion, and they're like, okay, cool, awesome. Then they give the marketing team, pamper this puppy up, and then like, okay, then they will send to product team. Product team is like, yeah, now you reduce the lifespan, bring it back to exactly as it was, but reduce the cost. So we get a new product which is expensive because it's new technology. They make it even more cheaply, and we get an even crappier product. So it's just far more fragile. That's why you would have noticed that modern batteries, lead acid batteries, are very fragile. Like, they cannot handle discharge and deep discharge and all that as they used to. Like, back in the old days, car batteries were like, bro, your radiator will blow out before we do. But like nowadays, I have already went through 2 batteries. So it's one of those things that technology can last much longer. Like, heck, lead acid battery used in submarines have warranty of 25 years. You can buy batteries that have 25 years. It's like, it can be done. It's just that they are not being done. Our tech is not meant to last. It's like our fridge has been like, they cut it down so much that it's like, there used to be robustness built into it. It's like, I got this. It's like, no, I don't got this. Modern systems, like, they don't got this. They're very fragile. Like, the margins are so fragile. It's like, it's a miracle it works. It's no longer like, oh, how long it lasts. It's a miracle it's lasting at all. So why is that? Like, we went from, like, barely having anything working to like things that are working very long. Like, 90s are classified as the time where things were lasting. Like, products that were made in 80s and 90s, designed properly, they were like, bro, we good. Your family will graduate on this. Like, you good. But why that's not happening? Well, things that start to last will basically not make the line go up, meaning the 1%er who are buying yacht, they have to stay down at 2 yachts. They cannot go to the 3rd yacht. So that's the issue. Because here's the deal. What companies want to do is make us into tech junkies, where they're like, it's like, dude, we consumed it, we good, we sit down, we enjoy. No. You have to consume. It's like companies, and this is another thing, is like, oh, there won't be a growth. There will be more than enough. We have survived thousands of years. And again, the majority of humanity's growth happened in 90s. And again, once planned obsolescence started to kick in, which is happening after 2010, things are not growing. Because fundamentally, the wealth is getting concentrated at that 1%. Everything is falling apart. There used to be a time people were like, oh, this is Toyota, this is going to last forever. Now people are like, Toyota, what the hell are you making? Like, I'm not joking. Like, I hope I'm wrong. But even Toyota models are like, people are like, are you serious? Like, are you for real? So that 1%er is like, hey, I want more. Because here's the deal. They can still be rich. They can still be a millionaire, but they want to be a billionaire. So they are making us into tech junkies, where they're like, everything is just consume more mobile phone. It's like how mobile phone should have happened. The same way happened with landline. Early days, too many new landlines. Then it became a stagnant period where it's like, hey, it reached a saturation. It's good. It's going to last. And then new technology happened, mobile phone. Early mobile phones, very short lifespan, because again, technology was iterating. Then that never stopped. Mobiles are still getting cycled too quickly. I'm like, I have no idea how the heck Samsung product manager is pooping out 54 models per year. So again, line must go up. Things are being designed in such a way they do not last. So things are made to fail after warranty. In this regard, Apple is the worst company ever. And that's why, like, personally, no matter what anybody says, oh, Apple is this and that, like, no. I will never ever endorse Apple, to buy Apple, or to recommend Apple to anyone. The primary reason is, like, you have to understand, I have looked into multiple documentaries. Never ever have seen anyone ever saying good things about Steve Jobs. They're like, he's visionary, he's smart. Nobody ever talked about his character. Like, he was like a bitter kind of character, so to say. And this is first iPod. If you ever know about Cashy Nash, that's the reason why he became popular. iPod's unacceptable battery lasts only 18 months. Basically, they somehow managed to create a technology that allowed them to have a battery that worked awesome for 18 months. Basically, even on the last 18th month, it will be useful. And the moment warranty, then it will slowly fade. And then it will fade faster, meaning by the time 20th month has reached, basically less than 2 years, it will be useless. Like, they were that quick degrading, and it's like after the purchase. It was like very well planned. And again, a lawsuit was filed and they lost. They had to openly admit, no, they are gonna do better. And they tried to, like, it's this and that. No, it was a planned obsolescence. This is the first product that was successful, and this is how they treated their customer. Again, thankfully, because again, reputational backlash was so strong that after that, the batteries were upgraded. So people who bought after that first batch, they were like, yeah, hey, now the batteries are lasting. Again, they lost on code. Then let's took another example. Caesar Butterfly BS. Now this Butterfly BS, I have no idea. I can easily see engineers like, hey, I think this will work, testing it. The moment he tested, it's like, oh, this is very fragile from dust and all that. Let's cancel it. How the heck it was not cancelled? How the heck it passed QC? This went into products. It was so fragile that if you sneezed wrong, it will break itself. And yes, it did. Enough people got mad at it that there was actual lawsuit, what we call as in like class action lawsuit. They lost. Let that be very clear. A multi-trillion-dollar company lost because this was such a bad thing. Because again, when they were replacing, because again, their hyper-integrated retard design, they could not replace it. They're like, we have to keep the same thing. So they lost around $200 million. That's why I hate this government jobs. It's like, bro, that's a $1 trillion company. 200 million is chump change for them. Billion, at least it should be 3 billion or something like that. So this was their laptop. For, like, again, you may have gotten money because of this. Again, small amount, because 200 million first goes to the people who fought the law case. By then you have the remaining amount, then remaining amount divided by how many people are there. So you may not have. Then this happened, Batterygate. Oh, pardon me, this was only 50 million. So I'm pretty sure the people who bought the laptop may have gotten $5 back, buyback. But this was Batterygate. This was $200 million. Now, what company did was like, Apple was like, hey, what if we F the customer? Because again, ironically, they made a phone that actually lasted because, not because of the hardware, because of the software, because they had to support the software so iTunes can print money. But they're like, hey, iTunes is printing money, but we are not printing money on phones. And again, this happened exactly the time when they stopped showing the phone sell metrics in their revenue talks as they have. Like back in the days, it's like, oh, we sold 1 million iPhone. Then it's like, we sold 15 million iPhone. The number was going up. But the moment it reached saturation, then they started to do this. They're like, okay, what if your phone soft bricks itself with updates? We have a pathway of update. What if it soft bricks itself? So the idea of soft bricking is like, because again, you have to understand, battery does lose its edge, basically how big of a surge it can handle. But if you design your product correctly, it should not be an issue. The idea was, they're gonna downclock your SoC, so it will no longer feel as snappy because the battery is worn down. That was the justification. Now here's it. This is completely legal, fair to do, as long as you tell the public. It's like, hey, your phone is out. It could flat out say, hey, this is your iPhone. The battery has been worn down. For safety reasons, we'll clock down your CPU. You can still use it. Everything will be fine. It just feels a bit sluggish. But they did not. That's why, because again, if they said that, people were like, okay, we're going to do battery replacement. But again, battery replacement is not profitable. So they are like, hey, what if we slow break it? What if we are evil? Again, they lost the lawsuit. It was that black and white. It was that ugly. So that's why anybody, Tom, Dick and Harry, says to me, Apple is good. No, it was never good. It was always a bad company. And every one of you who trusted Apple is the reason why we have garbage product. This company finalized the idea. This company became the evil of this world, where it's like, hey, what if we piss on the customer and customer drinks it like a wine? Like this happened. Nobody still left. Like, it's almost like you are slaves to it. Like, we cannot let it go. It's like, here's the deal. Do you want to suffer under a 50th or 60th, or you're like, hey, what if I try some other companies? Like, what would be the point? What would be the point? It's like, oh, software and all. No, none of that matters. This is an evil company who has been pooping on the one freaking planet we have. This company signed a memorandum of understanding that they're going to introduce USB to iPhone. Then they pooped on it. Now government has to write extra hard law just to make sure that Apple cannot do this. So fundamentally, this is a really, really viciously bad company. It's not, and let them be clear, because this company is getting away with this and people are like, Apple, 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 all other companies are doing this. There was a time where Lenovo's were like, damn, this ThinkPad, like this is built like a tank. This was like, damn. And now it's like, oh, it broke. Brick. Why? Because again, Apple bricked, nobody cared. Our bricked, nobody would care. So everyone who supports Apple, you are the reason why this planet is dying. You're literally, not even like indirectly, literally. And again, I could get it, but how do you not know this? And this is like just 3 that is the most painful. There were at least 100 of them. By law, check it. So this is the whole point. This company made this planned obsolescence idea into such a sexy thing. Every company is doing this because they got $2 trillion plus evaluation. Please write down what is the current evaluation. So how the heck they are getting away with this? Again, this is a bad thing. So how they are getting away with this? Well, the idea is FU. So what they do is what you classify as fear mongering. Basically, you have to understand, as you grow older, you kind of reach a point where you have to understand, is that bad things can happen. Bad things will happen. Intensity could be mild, it could be worse. There is nothing you can do about it. You have to accept it. And it's an ugly truth, but it's an absolute truth. And it's kind of desirable truth also. Like why it's desirable? Imagine this way, like India cricket team is a very beloved organization from India. We love it. Now here's imagine that team never lost. Never. Like they go, they win, done. How long do you think people will watch it or how long they will love it? It will get boring by the time 3rd year, 4th year. Nobody would care. So fundamentally, you have to understand, it's one of those things like safety does not make sense if you never accepted bad things. And again, we want to reduce it. We try to reduce it, but you can never achieve absolute zero. The reach to that, it's like if you push for that, yeah, you're going to create hell. So trust me, this is a certain level of acceptance that you have to reach. You have to. That's like, hey, we do our best, bad things happen, you have to deal with it. Now, because people are not reaching that level of maturity, so it's like companies are like, what if this, what if that? And again, Louis Rossmann talks about like actual senators who are deciding your future suffering. They're like, what if they are changing something in iPhone and becoming a PC? They are soldering a wire and it's becoming a PC. Not even making it up. It happened in court. So fundamentally, they will always scare you. It's like, what if your loss of life, like car companies are doing this, like, oh, you touch it, like, electric car, or it's like, what if it went boom and all that. And all this, like you can go to jail, you can have loss of life, you can loss of privacy. But here's the fundamental thing. What happens when company does this? For example, Tesla is like, nobody can touch our car because again, it's a very precise things and it's like blah, blah, blah. What if it catches on fire? What if it kills people because of auto driving? It did. I'm not making it up. It already happened. They lost the court case. So here's the deal. What is the penalty? Nothing. Jump change. That's nothing. Nothing happens to them. So it's like, oh, your car that nobody has ever touched. It's like, oh, they always somehow magically always find like somebody else to blame. It's like, I'm not joking. This was an actual car, if I'm not mistaken, from Ford. That Ponto, I think is the name. It was like, it was so badly designed that minor accident from back equals boom. It actually went boom. Like actually fuel tank was that poorly designed. It went boom. And this, if you ever heard the people oh, they did a calculation that recall was more expensive than the actually letting people die. This is the reason. This actually happened. What did government do? Like this company should have been dissolved instantaneously. Like, no, you cannot piss on the people. You cannot piss on their life. That's not an acceptable option. Like law and liberty, cool and all that, but you do not have the, oh, we're going to sell you a death trap. That's like, no. But they did. What can you do? So this fear, that's why you have to understand these things can happen. For example, John Deere is like, what if we F the farmers by making the software like, no, it's our property, man. Like, F you, man, pay us billions of dollars, like a junkie. Basically, they want farmers to become junkie. It's like, John Deere, man, John Deere. They want to do that. Because again, farmers do not have time for that. They're like, bruh, if I do not do this, people will literally starve because the food prices will go up. So, how do John Deere justify? It's like, oh, the environmental standards, man. But here's the, let's say Volkswagen, a giant company. This is not a tiny company, it's a ginormous company. Google how many brands is inside it. It's a ginormous, more bigger than you think. What if they make their new generation of engine, it did not meet specification? So they are like, what if we install a power virus? And because again, people were expecting mileage, mileage was not good enough when they were doing pollution control, so to say. So they're like, hey, what if we detected that we are being pollution tested and we control the fuel flow? Voila, it cleared all the emission standard. But when people actually drove it, it's like, why the heck is so dirty? It happened, not making it up, it actually happened. What was the penalty? Nothing. So let that be very clear. There is no penalty for them. So you have to grow a pairs of balls where it's like, hey, I understand this, but here's the reality. You're not going to cover insurance. Okay. So a car is like, I'm going to only do service center. I'm only going to pay for the insurance and all that, premium class and all that. 99% of times they will let you hang to dry. You're going to die. You have to accept it. At least save your today. Save your money today. So then you may have a chance that you have some money left in the future. Again, this happened. I'm just giving a few examples. This happened. And again, how the heck they are still using this fear? Why the heck every time Tesla says, oh, we cannot allow you to repair this, then it's like people like bitch slap them. It's like bitch slap them. Every agent that works in there, bitch slap them. Because here's this is another thing. It's like, oh, people have no control. No, you have control. You are working in that evil company. You are responsible. It's like, how the heck this happened? There is no. It's like, oh, data loss will happen. Again, data loss happened from Google. Data loss happened from Apple. Data loss happened from Meta. Was there any penalty for them? No. So rule for thee, rule for not me. It's like, what the hell? So flat out, wake up and accept the reality is there. You just have to choose your reality. You have to choose to trust a mechanic. If you trust him, trust him. If you don't trust him, no problem. That's up to you. But choose. As long as you give your choice because of fear, you are in greater danger than ever before. And it has happened. I'm talking about past tense. It has happened. So it all comes down to choice. Well, reality is fundamentally what's the penalty of it. If you do not wake up and you do not take action on this, you're going to rot in poverty. You will not even know that why you are so poor, but you will be poor. Because still, poverty, the biggest fail-safe against that is early base building. Once you can build your base early, before your body starts to fail down and you need a lot of medical bills, if you can build your foundation good, you're good. Like people who, that's the whole point of investment. You start to do investment early on, as in like people who started doing in 25 years old, they're good. They're good. Inflation is like, bruh, that's our asset going up. It's like, they're good. It's just that people who delay, they get. Now, here's the, if right to repair fails, you will always delay it permanently. You're going to starve to death. Fundamentally, that's the only outcome for you. And you're like, I'm not that old. Like, I'm not 40 years old. I have lived long enough where paneer in India, it's my favorite thing. Cottage cheese. That was 20 rupees. Right now, it's 150 rupees. One pack. Same pack size. I'm not that old. This level of amplification of cost is not acceptable. Like I cannot make enough money that 30 years from now I would be able to eat it. So fundamentally, that's the option. And much bigger portion of your income will go to just keeping your technology alive. Basically, your children will need a smartphone. Your household will need technology. You have to keep dumping money into it. You have to. And at that point, because again, you did not care when right to repair laws were fought and things were happening. Yeah. Now that after taxes, you have another technology tax because you no longer have right to repair and now you suffer. You will not even know that why the heck you do not have money saved, but then you're like, hey, wait a minute. I just went through 4 laptops in case of, let's say, 8 years. People have gone through that much. So fundamentally, and rich will get their 3rd yacht and 4th yacht, and you will have such a poor condition of living that you will not have kids because you cannot afford rent. You will not even understand why the heck smartphone went from like, $300, $400 to like this expensive, even though then they are not lasting that much longer. So fundamentally, basically what you are doing is choosing physical and mental laziness, and that is the penalty. That's the penalty that you're going to pay. Rot. For example, way too many people ask me which laptop to buy. Here's the deal. That question is pure laziness. Because here's the deal. Almost every laptop there is that is from a good brand, you can figure out somebody would have done benchmark. You just do not want to do the effort. Another aspect is there is generally a very good repository of teardown videos. Now, teardown is very compulsory for laptop. Why? Laptop's primary point of failure is its cooling system, and it fails in very insidious way. For example, you would think that computer is slowing down. But why it's slowing down? There is nothing to slow down. It's not like, Apple update and all that. So generally it slows down because Again, assuming you do not have any software corruption, this has happened, meaning your CPU is trying its best. The moment it clocks up, the overheat protection kicks in, it down clocks it. So you get a very choppy computer. If you can clean it, if you have checked before you bought the laptop, it's like, hey, can I open it up? Can I service it? How long the dust lasts? Like, how can I clean? Because be mindful, God help you if you have any animal, small animal in your house, this will be very quickly clogged up. Now, if you paid attention, you did that labor part early on before you bought your device. Like, oh, this is how it is. These are the screws that I have to open up to clean it up. Or this is how I can clean it up using a vacuum or a compressed air from one end and all that. Then you have a device that lasts, instead of only 2 years, it could easily last 3 or 4 years because you put the effort. If you do not put the effort, now you are bulk paying new laptops every 2-3 years. So fundamentally, it's your laziness that's paying the penalty. For example, one Indian techie kind of a YouTuber bought Alienware. Alienware is expensive in India. $5,000, yeah, is more expensive than us for us. Yeah, it was expensive and it hurt me to watch that. The reason for this, that tech is much larger than me. My Hindi channel is like 300K. That tech was like million plus. So much larger channel, and they have influence. That's why Kim Kardashian is billion dollar, sorry. That's the whole point. Tech influencing or influencer marketing works, and they bought Alienware. But here's the deal, Alienware is a junk now. Like, this is such a bad device that if you buy this, you can take the same amount of money, give it to other brand, and they can build your whole computer. That will be locally built. You are giving money to not the third or fourth yacht. You can give it to someone who's like actually grateful, and you're gonna have same warranty, and it will work. And you can repair it, service it after the warranty is over. These things are use and throw. The moment the warranty goes away, you're like, okay, what if I change, let's say, a GPU? Yeah, you can't change it. What if I want to change the SSD? Good luck. And what if about I upgrade the CPU, the socket, let's say? Yeah, good luck. What if I change the cabinet? You can't. Everything is designed as a junk. So fundamentally, and I suffered from this because my first computer was a Dell Inspiron 535S. After that, I learned my lesson. Because again, the reason why I hated that motherboard, again, that is magical compared to what this garbage is. So that was so cost cutter down. They are like, hey, what if we made a motherboard? I'm pretty sure some third party made the motherboard. Cool, awesome, motherboard is good. It has Southbridge. Southbridge had 4 SATA ports. There is like physical trace for that. They did not put the physical plastic of that SATA. You must have seen that. I've seen that in Lenovo also, where there's like, there is port, like the wiring is there, the trace is there. They just did not put the plastic. It's like, oh, they will never need it. It's like, I could not convert it into NAS. So these are little things, and all of them pile up. So I could not use that second computer that effectively. But again, thankfully, I learned my lesson. The second computer was a system, and I have used it into proper system. But that's the whole point. People who bought this, not only you paid a lot, you got a garbage. Another thing, same goes with a framework laptop. Like, primary reason why one should buy a framework laptop, you are more likely to clean it. Nothing else, nothing else. This is the primary reason of laptops going poof. This is one. And another, what is the next best thing? Battery wearing out. You can replace it. So basically, whoever is buying this, again, there is a bit of penalty simply because they are the first company who are actually trying to do this, and there is a bit of resistance there. But again, if they successfully become successful, because you risk it, buy it right now, you will have a device that lasts for 2-3 generations. Generation as in like computer generation, not real generation of 30 years. But it can easily last. I can easily see this puppy lasting 8 years, 9 years because again, there is inherently not that much change happening. Batteries wear out, you can change it. LCD changes out, again, you get a new replacement system. Most likely the primary failure is cooling fan use, and you're like, cool. So that's the whole point. Your laziness will directly penalize you in terms of rot that you have to deal with. Your choice, your life, your suffering. You have to suffer. Question is how. Like, that's why I love this Edison Motors. They showed a truck. And here's the deal, if you watch all of their videos, you're like, wait a minute, truck is not magic? I thought truck is magic, only big companies, only Elon Musk, fake promises can do that. It's like, he bought that. He actually put money down to get that pre-booking. He got so frustrated by delay and is like, this design does not look like made by a trucker. It's like, because it's useless. It's like, okay, what if I make my own? What if he actually did it? What if it got government approval? Right now, they're making the another model. So please check the video out. And again, once you see it, it's like, yeah, it's not magic. Oh, it's a normal thing. There was a time in World War II where US had brain. So their idea was that if we ever got boomed, they will take out our manufacturing sector and then we'll be crippled. So they had a very clever idea. Standardize everything. All the trucking parts were standardized. And so the idea was that, again, standardized as in like medium size truck, max size trucks and all that. So the idea was that any factory can just supply things. So you will not be like, oh, I took out that and you're poofed. That will not happen. It was done. The law has been revoked, if I'm not mistaken, in 2008 or something like that. That was a dumb idea. Again, that's why I said, like, they used to have brain. And again, he's bringing it back. Like, he built first truck in Canada after decades. And he just built it. It's like, take it and go. Take it and go, because yes, companies want to believe you. Like, there's this magic is like, Tesla is doing something. Dude, you can open it up and read the part number and order it from that same OEM. You can do that. Again, it'll be expensive, but you can do it. It's not magic. Like, this magic and all that is like, no. So choice is yours. The more lazy you become in your product purchases and your actual investigation into the more suffering you will have for your future. And you won't even know why the heck you do not have money for anything left. So this was my presentation on basically right to repair, why it is such an important thing. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show my disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.